Welcome to Branching and Looping Programming Logic. After watching this video, you will be able to describe the two types of programming logic, define Boolean expressions and variables, and list the differences between branching and looping. There are two major types of programming logic, branching and looping. Both types use Boolean expressions and variables. A Boolean expression is a type of programming statement with only two values, either true or false, and variables have assigned values that are passed into a function or subroutine within a more extensive program. Computers use Boolean logic to make decisions. The computer takes one action if a Boolean expression is true and a different action if the expression is false. Typically, a program consists of instructions that tell the computer what to do and data that the program uses when it is running. A variable has a value that can change depending on conditions or information passed to the program. Boolean logic, along with variables, form the basis of programming. Branching logic is where a computer makes a decision following a different set of instructions depending on whether certain conditions are met during the program's execution. Each possible code pathway creates another branch. The branch of code that runs depends on the values assigned to the parameters of the branching procedure, and there is no limit to the number of branches to implement complex logic. The values of these parameters may be input by the user or generated by the output from a previous procedure. Branching contains constructs that occur and are processed to determine the path a program takes when running. Branching statements, also known as constructs, allow the execution flow to jump to a different part of the program. The common branching statements used within other control structures include if then else, switch, and goto. The if statement is a decision-making construct that guides a program to make decisions based on specified criteria. The if statement executes one code set when a specific condition is met, true, or another code set if the condition is not met, false. The if-then-else is a conditional construct that executes its substatement, which follows the then keyword. This only occurs if the provided condition is true. The if-else statement extends the if statement by specifying an action if the if, or true-false expression, is false. With the if-else statement, the program will execute either the true code block or the false code block, so something is always performed with an if-else statement. In computer programming languages, a switch statement is a type of selection control mechanism used to allow the value of a variable or expression to change the control flow of program execution via search and map. Goto is a statement found in many computer programming languages that performs a one-way transfer of control to another line of code. In contrast, a function call typically returns control. Now, let's look at the logic of looping programming. A loop is a sequence of instructions that continually repeats until reaching a specific condition. Typically, a particular process is performed, such as retrieving and changing data, and then some conditions are checked, such as whether a counter has reached a prescribed number. If it has not, the next instruction in the sequence is to return to the first instruction in the series and repeat the sequence. If the condition is reached, the next instruction falls through to the next sequential instruction or branches outside the loop. A loop is a fundamental programming idea commonly used in writing programs. There are three basic loop statements: while, for, and do while. In a while loop, a condition is evaluated before processing the body of the loop. If a condition is true, then and only then the body of the loop is executed. In a for loop, the initial value is performed only once. Then the condition tests and compares the counter to a fixed value after each iteration, stopping the for loop when false is returned. And in a do-while loop, the condition is always executed after the body of a loop. It is also called an exit-controlled loop. In this video, you learned that there are two major types of programming logic, branching and looping. Both types of logic use Boolean expressions and variables. Boolean expressions have only two possible values, either true or false, and variables have assigned values that are passed onto a function or subroutine within a more extensive program. Variables have values that can change depending on conditions or information passed to the program. And branching is deciding what actions to take, while looping is deciding how many times to perform a certain action.